Hello friends, my name is Shivam from DevOps Schools and I will help you to enable your learning process in various technologies of DevOps, artificial intelligence, machine learning, big data and many more. This is our initiative to help you by sharing multiple tutorials and videos. And if you want any specific tutorials or any particular topic, then please do comment in the below comment section and I will help you with it. Also, please subscribe to our premium services on YouTube, which will give you access to more content and videos to enhance your knowledge about all these topics. Also, if you want me to help you with regards to the online trainings and classroom sessions by our qualified trainers, then please do write me at contact@devopsschool.com. Thank you.
Refactor, sorry, source, getter setters. Okay, so this is a type. Okay, whenever you create any variable, there is a type associated. What is the type of that variable? Whether it is a number, then it is integer. It can be a decimal value, then it is a double. If it is a string, then sorry, it is a characters, then it is a string. So similar to that, there are many types of data. So you need to define what is the type of data so that it will not save, it will not create problem later. So for example, uh, the first name is I have written as integer. Now I can assign this to a number, but is it possible to have a number as a name to a person? No, right? So that's why this data type is very helpful when you're creating any variables. So in the name, in the main class also, you have created an object, new person, and p was the variable, right, which is the reference variable to this particular object. But still, this is also a type, right? You are telling like you are creating a variable p. What is the type of this variable? The type is data type. But this data type is user defined. You have defined it. What is the type? It is not Java defined. Yeah.
Because I would like to cut you there. Sorry, very sorry.
Yeah.
So this person p equal to new person. So we created a person class initially, right? That person.java is a class, correct? So am I correct in saying
You have
that?
not created. No, no, 1 second. Sorry to interrupt. You have not created a class. You have created an object. You create class only once. This is the class. That's it.
No. Understood, understood. Can you go back to your main function on the main class? Right. So person p equal to new person. So I'm referencing a class that I created that is person, correct?
No, you are referencing a object you have created. This is already created object.
No. So
If
person
I
p,
just comment.
when you wrote person p equal to new person, so that p is an object, right?
No, P is not object. Let me explain you again.
Okay.
When you write this, you have written this new is new person. That's it, right?
Mhm.
So this has already created object.
Hmm.
Okay. There is no P, right? You have written just new person. That's it. So this has
Oh,
already created object for you. Now you
okay,
want to access that object. How you will access that object? To access that object, you create a variable
okay.
so that whatever objects that you have created, you can access it.
I see. Oh, okay. Makes sense, because I'm sorry, I'm gonna ask you these silly questions because I need to
No.
listen,
That's the
right?
motive of this session. You should understand the basic understanding what is going on. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Coming back to data types. So we discussed data types. Now we have the operators. Okay. So when you are creating the application, you need operators. To operators means you want to check something like, so for example, in this method we have created like, sorry, calculate age, right? So you need the calculation of, you need the subtraction, right? You need the date of birth. I'm not writing actual syntax. I'm just writing the date of birth minus current date, right? So you need these operations, right? You need this operator minus. How you subtract it if you don't have this minus allowed in Java? So there are various operators which is required, like plus, we have equals, we have double equals. Double equals is being used to compare. Okay, these two things are same or not. Okay. So similarly, we have like or operator. Or is like you can check this or this. Okay, if this is true or this is true, so that's an OR operator. We have AND operator. AND means I am a person, P1 is a person and P2 is a person, then do these things. Okay, so that is an AND operator. So we similarly we have various operators which is being required to write your application, right? So we have various operators. Keywords. What is keyword? So when you learn any language, there are few terminology which is used by programming language itself. You can't use it when you are writing any code. When you are writing any script, you are not allowed to use those keywords for your application building. Okay, so for example, I'll tell you. So in the main class, you have used this keyword static. Okay, I am not going to this because I've not explained this. For example, okay, we have created a class, right? We have created a public class, main class. Okay, so this class is a keyword which is used by Java programming language. So you cannot use it for your purpose. So for example, I have created this person P is equal to new class. So I can't write person class is equal to new person. This is just a name, right? This is just a variable. I can write anything, correct? I have written P, I can write P1, I can write P2, anything, right? But I cannot use the keyword which is being used by Java programming language itself. I cannot use those variables. So those are the keywords. So for example, I have written this class. I cannot use class. So similarly, there are many keywords like switch. Okay, there is switch, there is if, else. I'll explain this things, don't worry. I'm just telling you what are the some examples of keywords. Switch, if else, we have continue.
Hey viewers, our Mastery in DevOps engineering program can help you to hone the skills necessary to succeed in high-level DevOps positions. So, what are you waiting for? Enroll now and earn certification that show you are keeping pace with today's technical roles and requirements. Contact info is mentioned in the video sidebars and in the description box. Book your seats for the upcoming batches now.
These are the keywords which is used by Java language. You cannot use this. Okay. So these are the few examples of keywords which we should avoid. We not avoid. We can't use it. I mean, you will get compile time error. Okay. So that is what I was trying to explain. So Java variables, data types, operators, and keywords. That's these are the terminologies which we have to take care. Okay. Control statements. Okay. When you are writing any program, you have to write some logic, right? If this happened, then you have to do. If that happens, then you have to do. You might need to write. You might need to read something. For example, thousands of records. Okay, and you want to read that record. How can you read it? Okay, there should be some way to read it. So these are the control statements. I'll explain this one by one. Okay, so first is, for example, if else. Java if else. Okay, let's clear this out. So first is if else. What is if else is? So I'll explain.
Just a small question, because
Yeah, sure.
I just want to know, I mean, all these apps will have some specific thing called as design patterns, right? Will you touch upon those? Or
Design patterns, I can touch up if the time permits, but design patterns itself is a huge topic.
yeah, I mean, not like everything, but like the very common thing, or
Yes,
just
yes.
yeah.
I'll touch up a few design patterns.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. So if else is basically int y. I'll explain this too. Okay. And I'll declare it access to y as 3, for example. Okay. Now, if you want to check which one is greater, access to which one is greater and which one is smaller. Okay. So if I write if condition greater than y, so sound. Sysout is if I write sysout and control space, this is a shortcut to write the system out of println. Okay, so sysout control space will write this for you. Okay, system out of println x is greater than y. That means x is greater and y is smaller. So this is the same string I have to write. I can copy it and I can paste it. I have to just reverse the string. Okay. Y is greater and x is smaller. So what I'm doing here is, so I'm just checking if x is bigger, then I've just written a simple one-line statement, but you can write some big logic if you want to do something. Okay, if x is greater, then you have to do some 10 steps, for example, and if x is smaller, then you have to do something else. So this is like a if-else statement. If this is true, if x is greater than 3, which is not in this case, so this part will execute. Okay, if this is smaller, then this part will be executed. So I'll run it. For example, I'll run this for you. So what it is saying that y is greater than x. Sorry, y is greater and x is smaller. So if I reverse this, for example, I make it 10 and I run it, this will tell me x is greater and y is smaller. So this is the if else syntax. Okay, so it's very simple. What is Java switch statement? Okay, so switch statement is basically being used like to, if you want to check like from the multiple cases which case you want to select. In that case, you can use the switch case statement. Okay, I'll explain that switch case also. Let me write the syntax for that. So what is switch case? It will explain you in a better way. Okay, so for example, if I write switch, so switch case always is like it should be tell you like, okay, it will tell you the expression which one is which one you want to execute. If there are like 10 cases, you want like which one. So you have 7 days a week, right? So I'll just 2 days week is equal to 4. I'm taking it as number. So number 4 means, just assume that Sunday, Monday, sorry, we'll start from Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So 4 is Thursday and 1 is Monday. Okay. So for example, and you will write today's week. Okay. And then based on the day of the week, you want to do something. So for example, I'll write cases. So you have to write the cases for it. In what case, what you want to do. So sys out, I'll tell today is Monday, for example. Similarly, you can write multiple cases. Let me write it. Okay, so case 2, case 3, case 4, case 5, case 6, case 7. Okay, so so Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday and Sunday. So based on the day, which day today is, you want to do some task. Okay, so right now I'll explain one more thing by running it. This will not work as expected, so I'll explain you why. Okay, so today is, for example, today is Saturday, right? Okay, so I'll make it Saturday on the 6th. Okay, so if today is Saturday, I want to do something. Where is Saturday? Here is the Saturday, 6-1. So nothing, all these cases will skip. Only this should execute, right? Okay, Let me run it.
Hey viewers, trying to get into DevSecOps? Enroll for our DevSecOps certified professional programs and earn the certification that shows you are fit for these technical roles and requirements. Contact info is mentioned in the video sidebars and in the description box. Book your seats for the upcoming batches now.
Okay, so what it is executing, let me comment it out this part. We are done with this. So this double line is to comment. So parallelly, when I'm explaining everything, I'll try to explain few general things also. So this double line will help you to comment out the code. Whenever you want to comment out, you don't want to execute, you can put this double line. Okay. So now let me rerun it. So what it is saying that I have mentioned is 6. It is printing this statement only. System.Saturday, but it is printing Sunday also. It should not print Sunday. It should print only Saturday, right? So how the switch case execute is, it will check each and every case, okay, and whenever it is satisfies the case, it will execute the rest of the part also. It will not stop here. So for example, if I mark it as 2, okay, 2 is Tuesday, and I run it, so it will print Tuesday, and then it print Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, everything, right? It should not be like this. So how it is handled is, whenever whichever switch case is satisfied, you have to write this break. So break statement is required. So when your test case, whatever switch case you want to execute, it is satisfied, don't go ahead. This is telling the code is don't go ahead, please. I'm done. So break from here. Okay, so we have to put this break everywhere. Okay, now if I execute this, it will execute only that case which is satisfied with this condition. Tuesday, only Tuesday is getting printed now. 2 is Tuesday, so it is only Tuesday. Now for example, I am passing a number which this case doesn't know. I have passed 9. I mean, I don't know what I have to do in this case. I'll run it, nothing will happen, right? So if you want to have a feature like I want to execute some default thing, if I don't know what I have to do, I don't know, I mean Monday to Friday, Monday to Sunday, I know what I have to do, but I'm getting a day which is not Monday to Sunday. So what I need to do in that case? So you can write a default case also. I don't know what to do. Okay, when I run it, it will print the default one, because I don't know what is this you're talking about. I am not aware about this case, what you mentioned. So you want to have some default feature, so you can write a default case for this, and you can write whatever logic you want to write here. So if I want to pass a valid date, for example 3, which is Wednesday, the default statement will not execute. It is only Wednesday. So this is how this switch case will help you in terms of writing your logic for your application. Now what is loop? What is for loop? Okay, let me explain that. We'll go one by one. So what is loop? So loop is basically when you have a collection of things. You have hundreds of record, 100 of object. You have 100 name of a person. You want to read that, or you want to do something out of that. You have a repetitive kind of records. So how you can write it? How can you write a logic for that? Okay. So for example, I want to print 100 number. So I can't go and write sys out and then 1, and then I can go and again sys out 2. So you have to go write 100 times, right? If I want to print 100 number. So when you want to do any repetitive kind of task, so for loop come into the picture. So for is the syntax for this. Okay. You have to tell where you have to start. So you have to mention, you have to start at 0 or 1, whatever. Okay. How many times you have to do? So you have to tell how many times I want to execute this particular thing you are trying to do. How you can increment the iteration? So you have to mention I plus plus. Okay. So this is the syntax of a for loop. So this is the repetitive time. I am going to do something which will start at 1, execute till 100. X is I is less than 100 or equal to 100 if you want the exact 100 record, and I want to increment it one time. I plus plus means it will increment 1 from 1 to 2, then 2 to 3, then 3 to 4. It will go like that. So if I just do sys out I, okay. Now if I run this, let me comment it out the rest of the part. Okay, let me run this now. See, it is printing the number from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It is going on. So what I've done is I've started from 1 and I'm incrementing it I plus plus, and then I'm printing each number. So for example, if I don't want each number, I want alternate number 1, 3, 5. So what I can do is I can increment it, not I plus plus, I can make it.
Hey viewers, are you looking for formal training on SRE practices? Take our SRE program. This course will teach you how to successfully implement site reliability engineering in the modern day 24/7 services. Kickstart your SRE training today. Contact info is mentioned in the video sidebars and in the description box. Book your seats for the upcoming batches now.
I plus 2, for example. Okay. I is equal to okay. So when I try to run this one now, see, now it is not printing all the numbers. It is printing 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. So you can change as per your units how you want to iterate. The next step, how you want the next immediate step, or you want to jump from a particular step. So you can change according to your needs.
One thing here. So
yeah.
So that initially we wrote right I equal to 1 and then I should be less than equal to 100 and I plus plus. That I plus plus is nothing but I equal to I plus 1, correct?
Correct. Yeah. I plus plus is basically I is equal to I plus 1. This is a shortcut for writing the I plus 1.
Okay. Okay, cool.
Okay. So this is about for loop. Okay. Now Java while loop. So this is again one way of writing a loop. It's not different. So here what we have written is we have initialized it, then we have written the condition when you want to stop. You want to stop when I is less than equal to 100, then I will stop here. And you have written the increment, how you want to increment it. So similarly, this is another way of writing the same thing. So this is like while loop, while I is less than equal to 100. Okay, you have to initialize I outside. I'll comment it out this. Okay, so I have initialized it outside, then I've written this condition here, I is less than equal to 0, and you want to do something. So whatever. I am testing while loop. And I am currently, my current value is, and my current value is 5. Okay. So what I am doing is I am trying I should be 0. I starts with 0. Okay. If I is less than 100, I'll print it. But where I have to increment this I, it should be increment also, right? Otherwise, I is always 0 and I is always less than 0. This program will crash. It will never ends because I is always less than 0, right? It's always less than 100. Correct? Right. So you have to increment it, right? Then only it will reach to a point when I is less than 100. So you have to write I is equal to I plus whatever you want, 1 or 2. It's as per your need. So this is like another way of writing the for loop. You can use it the while loop. So while loop, why we use the while loop is, while loop provides a little bit more flexibility to you. You can you can write more complex incrementation or logic here. Okay, so that is why we can use while loop whenever it needs. Okay, let me run this one also. So it will print the same thing. So earlier we have started with 1, so it was printing 1 3 like that. We have started with 0, so it is printing 0 2 4 6 8 10 even numbers, and it is stopping at 100 because we have mentioned I is less than equal to 100. So we can make it anything. If I want 10, it will print only 10 numbers. That's it. 1 10 20 30 like this. Okay, so this is one more way of writing the iteration. Now we have a do while loop. So one one difference is, when you are writing this one, we are checking the condition first, right? We are checking whether I is less than 100 or not. Then only I am writing my code, correct? So it will never execute if I is not less than 100. So for example, I make I as 200 already at the start itself. So I is 200, I is less than 100. No, I is greater than 100, right? So when I execute this, I will not get output anything. It is blank, right? So this is like based on condition, this execution will happen. So what will do while do? The only difference between while and do while is, do while will execute one at least. So it is telling do something. So you are telling to do something, then you are checking this. Okay, so what is the difference between this and this is, so this was I is equal to 200. It was checking whether I is, what is the I value is it less than 100, then only execute, otherwise don't execute it. But in this case, it will execute always, and then it will check. But so what is the meaning of this is, this will execute at least one time. So if I is 200, still it will execute at least once. But after that it is checking, is I is less than 100? No, it is not less than 100, it is greater than 100. So now this will not execute again. So if I make it like 10 again, sorry, 1 again, so it will execute 10 times. Okay, so what it is doing is, it will execute first and then it will check condition. Then if it is true, then it will again execute. If it is true, then it will again execute. Okay, what is break? Java break statement. Okay, so one example I explained you, the break statement is, one use of it is in the switch case that we have explained. In this scenario, we want to break from when the one of the case is satisfied, you break out of it. You don't have to check rest of the case. So that is the one use of break. So break is basically, you want to, whenever you are doing something, you want to break at that point. You don't want to continue. So you can break that particular condition. So for example, in this scenario, what we are doing is, we are doing something, we are incrementing I by 10, and then I is less than 100, then continue this part. But what I want to check is, if I is equal to, for example, I want to check if I has reached to a point of 50, for example. I don't want to continue, I want to break out of it. Okay, so it will not check for rest of the numbers. So that is one way of handling the code inside. You can write the logic like this also. Okay, so I have written as, if I is equal to 50, then break, but I never reached to 50. When I was started at 1, I am incrementing with 10, and checking I is equal to 50, but I was never 50. I was 1, 11, 21, 31, 41, then it jumps to 51. 50 never come, so that's why it never breaks. So if I write 51 now, it will not execute after 51. It will break out of it. Okay, so when I reach 51, it breaks and this print doesn't happen. Okay, so this is the use of break statement. We can use it. Then we have a continue. Okay, so what is the use of continue? So for example, I don't want to continue. Okay, and I write continue. Continue. Okay, so I will write it as 50 only. So 50 is now never going to reach, correct? It is now never going to happen that I value is 50 in this case right now. So when I run this, so can you see that for after each statement, it's written as I don't want to continue after each statement. 1, 11, 21, 31, 41, 51, everywhere. After each statement, you can see I don't want to continue. So what is the meaning of continue is, so this is not executing right now. So right now this is not executing because I value was never 50. So it is printing this statement and then it is printing this statement. Okay. Now you want to skip some part. So for example, for a particular value, you don't want to print this statement. This logic you don't want to execute. So what I can do is, if I have reached a point when I is equal to 51, please continue. Don't execute rest of the part. If I have more number of lines here.
Thanks for watching. Want to study further? Join our training programs today.